the 3 mindsets of product development. Once you start exploring user-centered product development, you'll be adrift in a sea of jargon. Dive deeper, and you'll be swamped with fancy-sounding rules, frameworks, best practices, tools, and procedures. Before you know it, your head might just explode. Every week, someone suggests a new method or book claiming to be the best way to build products. To avoid losing your sanity, you need to focus on the core principles of modern product development. This will help you not to get lost in the dark forests of cluttered framework trends and outdated techniques. This lesson will spotlight the essential mindsets of modern product development. Once you grasp these, you can easily identify the best practices that will truly drive your team and product forward. You'll often hear terms like Agile, lean startup, and design thinking. And for good reason. They form a powerful combination. Let's delve into how they complement and overlap with each other. Starting with Agile, the oldest term, you'll encounter a mountain of frameworks and procedures. Agile focuses on building software efficiently with some user-centered thoughts. But at its heart, Agile means adapting your plans based on new insights. The key is to create a setup that quickly generates these insights, because fixed plans suggest everything is under control, but in reality, nothing is.
Nothing!
Instead of building something for weeks before showing it to anyone, you aim to deliver small chunks of value to test your direction. In other words, you build something, measure its impact, and learn from it. Sound familiar? Build, measure, learn is the mantra of Lean Startup, popularized by Eric Ries. This overlaps with Agile. Where Lean Startup complements Agile is in how it generates learnings, quickly and with minimal resources through simple experiments that identify risks. All the insights you gain from your experiments feed back into your plans that might change now, or they inspire you with new ideas to overcome challenges. This is where design thinking comes in, viewing any problem as an opportunity to innovate by thinking like a designer. But what does thinking like a designer mean? It boils down to 2 things. First, understand the context deeply enough to judge if you're solving the right problem. Second, find innovative ideas, aka thinking outside the box. Thinking outside the box is crucial in the Agile, Lean Startup, and design thinking triad, because the build, measure, learn cycle risks optimizing for a so-called local maximum, stifling innovation. So, it's vital to start with an innovative idea before optimizing through tight iterations. When applying Lean Startup and design thinking, you'll constantly generate new insights that can change your plans. Without these insights, your Agile setup is useless because there's no impulse to adjust your plans. Agile, Lean Startup, and design thinking on their own would be barely more than a good start. So, let's look at an example that illustrates how the combination of the 3 can unfold their true power. Meet the DPS team, Ananas. They observed that many commuters bought breakfast each morning on their way to the subway, mostly sandwiches or rolls, convenient to eat on the trains, but not very healthy. The team wondered why people didn't have healthier breakfasts, so they wanted to run problem interviews to find out why commuters wouldn't prepare a healthy breakfast at home. Design thinking. But instead of scheduling several interviews with commuters all over the week and being busy with this for several days, they swarmed out the next day, talking to as many commuters on the platforms and trains as they could. This quick learning approach, Lean Startup, prevented them from being busy with user interviews all week. Agile. The next day, the team discussed their findings. They discovered that people were too busy with daily chores to prepare healthy meals. Since everyone reported similar reasons, they stopped doing problem interviews and reprioritized things. Agile. Now they brainstormed how to encourage commuters to eat healthier, design thinking, and how to find out the next day if this would be possible. Lean startup. Knowing that they had not to work on a proper product yet, the team sat together and ideated on how to serve the commuters a healthy breakfast quickly. They wanted to devise a solution that they could try out the next day. Agile. Without having to prepare breakfast for those commuters. Lean startup. The next day, they tried this. In the morning, they asked commuters if they wanted a healthy breakfast delivered to their office. They collected payments, bought breakfast bowls from restaurants, and delivered them to workplaces. At the end of the day, the team had learned that it is tough to deliver food to a commuter's desk. Often, office buildings are hard to enter, and locating the desks was challenging. Delivering to desks was too time-consuming and costly. With this insight, they ideated again, agile and design thinking. What if we delivered food at a busy train station where commuters are close to each other? They asked. Then they crafted another experiment. In the afternoon of the same day, they asked commuters on their way home if they would order breakfast for the following day. Once their customers agreed, the team collected the money again. The next morning, the team handed the breakfast bags to the commuters on the platform. Since this worked well, they took the next step. The designer created a landing page for online orders, replacing the need to collect money on trains and enabling the team to test the online process. Agile and lean startup. Knowing the core ideas behind those mindsets not only helps you when trying to drive the actual product forward, it also comes in handy when you want to convince investors. Team Ananas knew they would eventually need to replace the manual handover of the breakfast bowls with something more scalable, like a vending machine the commuters could pull their prepaid food from. But before the team could build a vending machine, they needed funding. Applying design thinking, they asked themselves, how might we illustrate our vision without having to build or buy a vending machine? They decided to shoot a promotional video utilizing a DHL packing station that acted as the vending machine to see if potential investors would bite. Lean startup mindset. As you can see, applying the core ideas behind Agile, lean startup, and design thinking can help you move quickly and effectively in many ways. If you are locked in, working on something for weeks before gathering feedback, you are not working Agile. If you blindly build something, ignoring potential risks, you will produce waste, which is not very lean. And if you build something without understanding the need, just because a user or stakeholder asked you to do so, you are not innovating, or even worse, creating a solution that isn't one. Here are some things you can try that might help you stick to those mindsets. Schedule fixed test slots in advance, even if you think you have nothing to test yet, or don't know who to invite to a test session. Fill your calendar with fixed slots that will not be moved around anymore. This will help you to stay motivated in moving forward and establish a habit of steady feedback gathering. If you cannot fill a scheduled slot with users from a potential target group, get anybody to try the product instead of cancelling the slot. You can still reflect afterwards whether the insights from that test apply to your target group or not. Make it a habit to sprint towards your desired outcome. Even if you do not technically work with Scrum, divide your work into short sprints. Define an outcome you would like to generate within a specific time frame. Keep that time frame as brief as possible. Then write down everything you need to do for this outcome. Sort this list according to the things that propel you forward the most or the riskiest ones. This will increase the chance that learnings will trickle in quickly. At the end of each sprint, reflect on how far you got, what the impediments are, and if you need to change something. And don't shy away from trying one-day sprints. We all love those intense hackathons, don't we? Write down the problem you are trying to solve and make it visible so you can see it all the time in your team space. This will help you to stay focused and not get carried away. Ask yourself daily, how might we serve our users tomorrow? Or what would we do today if we had to launch tomorrow? This will foster thinking about ways to try out your ideas without building the product first, and will help you focus on the most essential stuff. Make it a no-no to say, we can't do this because. Instead, establish the rule only to say, we could do this if, whenever a challenge arises. This will instantly spark your inspiration and keep you going forward instead of stalling. These are just a few things you can do to foster this powerful combination of mindsets in your team, and there are many more. But if you remember the core purpose behind these 3 principles, beyond all the fancy tools and methods, you'll effortlessly discover the best practices that keep you moving forward.